How long were you in that position of real uncertainty but fearing the worst for?
Quite a while, because once they got the steroids into me, I was so much better, no headaches, I was rational again, I didn't have any problems walking, bumping into things. So I began to think, hey, it's gone away, I'm all right, I don't have to have any problem, any operation at all. But of course that's not true. It wasn't until the following day, obviously I had to ring Kath and say, I've got a brain tumour, and then she ran around the family. So I had so many visitors from my family, church family, which was great, but for the wrong reason. And it wasn't until the following day that transport was made available to take me to the QMC. And I was down because it was a very big tumour. It was about the size of a large lemon. So you imagine how it squashes everything else in your brain.
And do you know where in the brain it was? You've been given a hint because you said about the scar.
It was here, but it was so big. It was like wedge shaped as well. So the bulk of it, thankfully, was on the outside, and it went right into the middle of my brain. So that they always call it debulking when you have an operation. They can't get it all out. They get as much out as they safely can. So I went up to the QMC. That was on the 9th. I was supposed to have the operation the next morning. So it was like nil by mouth from midnight. At sort of 6 in the morning, I couldn't sleep. I was so upset. I was crying. I thought, I'm going to die. I know I'm going to die in this operation. I'm going to die from the anaesthetic, or the scalpel will go to the wrong place and I'll be killed. Because I got told by the consultant what a serious operation it was. So I suppose he has to give the worst case scenario. Really. I just felt there's no chance of me surviving. At 6 o'clock in the morning, or 6:30, I rang my vicar from my mobile. I said, please will you pray with me, because I just can't cope. I was almost sobbing down the phone to him, just thinking, that's it, my life's over. And then so he prayed with me. I felt a bit better. Time went on. 9 o'clock. The nurse, am I going down? So, oh yeah, but apparently there's an emergency brought in, so you're going down after the emergency. It'll be about 11 o'clock. Okay, yeah. Can I have anything to eat? No, of course not. In between that time, a patient was brought in late in the afternoon who was dying, and because they've got no side rooms available, he was put diagonally opposite to me. And about 11 o'clock at night, all his family came in. They were all sobbing, "Oh, love you, Dad. Bye, Dad." It was terrible, because I've still got my operation to face, and I just felt, I'm definitely going to die. This is awful. And then my family are going to be sobbing over me. I can't bear it. So about 2:30 in the morning, I rang an old lady from church, and I knew wouldn't mind me. And I said, "Please," I was sobbing, "please pray with me, Ruth. This is happening." And her prayers were so comforting. They really were, and real. Like we say, things have got to be real. And I just felt so much better. Went back to bed. When I went back to bed, he'd gone. They'd managed to find a side room for him, so that was better. Although not before. But his wife had come over to me and said, "I'm so sorry." And I was like, well, these things happen, don't they? I was able to be, sort of practical with it. I said, "I'm so sorry about what's happening to you. It's far worse for you than it is for me. But thank you for coming over, Anyway, so the following day after that, I went down for my operation, and I just felt a lot calmer. But they managed to get out 90%, which is obviously great. I honestly didn't expect to wake up still, but I just was a lot more peaceful. But obviously I did wake up in the post-surgery unit, and I got a banging headache, as you can imagine. They got me on morphine, and I could self-administer for about half an hour. So I got this plunger. If it got too bad, press the plunger, you get more morphine. That was great stuff, that was. No wonder all these drug users take it. But anyway, so the nurse came to me and said, "Oh, you're awake, Mr. Sedman." She says, "I've had your daughter on the phone wanting to know if you're all right, but you were still unconscious. So I'll ring her back, and I can tell her now you're awake." And she says, "Can you tell me, we've lost your daughter's phone number." That's a trick, wasn't it? "Can you tell us, the phone number?" But I was on good numbers straight away. Then I said, "Oh, my home number's this, if there's no reply from that." And so off she went, and I thought, hey, I'm all right. I wiggled my toes, I can talk, I can think, I can speak. "Oh, thank you, I'm all right." It was a real elation until the really bad headaches came back again. So, "Oh, go away." Yeah.
So the headaches returned, did they? But
only because of the surgery.
Post-operative.
Post-operative headaches. Yeah, I mean, they went after about 2 days, you know, and then they never came back wonderfully. So.
Now, was the tumour in the frontal lobe?
Right frontal lobe.
On the right-hand side?
Yes, and it was a grade 3 astrocytoma, something or other. Yeah.
And people may not know, watching this, that generally one side of the brain controls the other side.
That's right.
Movements.
That's right. That's it. So because it was here, it was controlling things on the left. That's
and
right.
you mentioned on the earlier account that you had weakness on that left-hand side.
I did, very much so,
and
I didn't know why.
Impairment issue. You know,
It wasn't. My sight was fine.
Awareness.
It was a spatial awareness of how close I was to something.
Yeah.
Not because of the vision, just because you do a lot by feeling, don't you? You know, so subconsciously, I know that desk is like 18 inches from me. You know, but I was saying that's 18 inches from me. It was next to me. So as I walked and my shoulder banged into it, what's going on?
They sometimes call it an agnosia, where you lose the awareness of a certain function that you took for granted before.
Absolutely.
The problem with losing the awareness is you're not necessarily aware it's gone until you suddenly hit something or
absolutely
bump into
right.
something.
Yeah.
It's an odd situation.
That's right, very much so, yes. And explaining it to other people, it was almost, well, not that I wasn't believed, but that they couldn't understand it. You know, so I couldn't understand it either, so there's 2 of us.
Now, that was the operation out of the way, but then there comes a period of recovery and possibly further treatment if it's indicated.
That's right. I was sorry.
Yeah, you said they got about 90% of the tumour.
That's right.
So did they try and give additional treatments after that?
Yes, I was told that I knew they would only be able to get a certain percentage out, but they hoped they'd be able to get as much as possible. So I thought 90% is pretty good. And they said that I would have to have radio and chemotherapy after that, but not immediately, because the main part of it has been dealt with. So it wasn't an emergency anymore, and it wasn't until February and March 2005 that I started 6 weeks of both as an outpatient. But you probably need to know before that, in January, now before that even, because people would be interested, I guess it might be important to them, over Christmas, because they sent me home with codeine being, you know, suitable to, you know, for you know, the pain I was in, and I now know that codeine is a terrible thing for constipation, and I could not go to the toilet for 11 days. I was in agony. I got like a strangulated hemorrhoid. I was so uncomfortable. Christmas Day, I ate my dinner and then wished I hadn't, because I was just so full. I couldn't go to the toilet. And then, you know, sort of January the 1st, I remember thinking, well, you know, I'm definitely going to die of this, because I felt so ill. Whereas before the tumour, I felt in pain and symptoms. I never felt ill. This time I felt so ill. Thankfully, I've been assigned a Loros nurse. This Loros nurse came around. She says, "What's the matter, Chris?" So I told her. She says, "Oh, that's no good." She says, "You want Movicol. You know, it's like a sachet of, you know, powder. That will get you going." Well, thankfully, you know, she said, like, take about 6 sachets today, you know, and 4 sachets tomorrow. And the next day I went, oh, relief. But, you know, I'm just guessing that maybe, I know that codeine is a constipator for a lot of people. So, you know, people are watching this, they might want to be aware. You know, you might not want to have codeine as a painkiller.
Well, in a way, it's a lesson for clinicians as well about prescribing things that you know they have a purpose, but they come with a side effect.
That's right, absolutely.
We have to be aware of the side effect as much as what we're trying to treat, so we don't introduce a new problem.
Yes.
The problem with that drug is it had an opioid analgesic in there, which slows down the motility of the bowel. Certainly that's combated by a certain drug. But unless you know that, you can be creating a problem, which, as you very clearly described, is quite a serious one. It shouldn't be underestimated.